Welcome everyone to Replo's live SEO audit workshop in partnership with QuickBot. Today, the founder of QuickBot, Robert Battle, will provide free SEO audits for your websites, helping you identify for improvement and offering actionable tips for optimizing your online presence. Before I turn it over to Robert, I'd like to quickly introduce Replo. Replo is a visual web development platform that allows teams to create beautiful high-performance landing pages on Shopify without the need for developers. Replo is light years ahead of other page builders when it comes to customization and page speed. We have a library of hundreds of proven landing page templates that anyone can use, as well as certified experts who can help build custom landing pages in just a few days. We'd like to thank Robert for hosting it and for providing his expertise. And so without further ado, let's dive into the world of SEO. I'm going to hand it over to you, Robert.
All right. Thank you, Justin. I appreciate it. Obviously, very happy to be here. You know, I love walking through all these different site audits, covering some tips and tricks, and hopefully demystifying a bit of SEO. Because while it is, kind of this super out there, it does get pretty good. Hey, Clarinda, how's it going? Okay. I think she's breaking up a little bit. Anyways, but I'm just gonna, if you don't mind, just muting her real quick, Justin. That's fine. Anyways, just gonna kind of go through some quick SEO audits, and we're gonna cover all types of different competitor analysis using specifically Ahrefs, which is the main tool that we use at QuickBot, and a little bit about us. You know, we're a digital marketing agency solely focused on SEO, and we really hammer the idea of using data to derive topical authority. And from everything we've tested, content is forever and always. And all these new AI tools out there today actually help you produce content very quickly, very authoritative. What we've seen is that they are just tools. And if you're not putting the content in the right structure, in the right places, you're not basically designing content with intent, it's basically worthless. So we're going to cover a little bit about that and how you can hopefully, kind of create your own content map ideas. Because everything you put on your site, it should be thought about before it actually goes live. It should be part of a plan. And so I'm going to show you guys some of that and really how we move the needle with all of our clients. So I'm going to start off by sharing here, and I'm going to jump in. I'm going to do Red Bloom first, then Fully Vital, and then we'll do John's website shortly after that, if that works. And then we'll do Clarissa after that. That sounds good?
Sounds good.
Cool. Okay, so I'm not going to lie. After I saw Red Bloom sign up, I was like, this is the ultimate product. I love this idea of shitless hot sauce, dude. Honestly, freaking marketing from that angle. Also, just like definitely a need. Myself, I love spicy foods. Obviously, this is a great product. So that being said, after seeing your site and looking at everything, I like to go in cold. First of all, I like to go in for a website without looking at the data and just like basically cruise around the website to get an idea of what I should expect to see. And what I expected the site to be like around for a lot longer, and at least to maybe have a little bit more, to be a little bit more prominent than it was, because it's not taken off yet. And it looks like, so I use like Wayback Machine just to check and just to see, if there's anything on the site ever, and it hasn't. So how old's your site, Steven?
It's like I literally built it in Replo like last month.
Amazing, dude. Amazing. I mean, it looks great. It feels great. Like, so you definitely passed that check there. So that's what's up, man. So let's talk about how we can get you ranking. So overall, are you generating sales? Obviously, you just got this thing off the ground. Are you running Google Ads? Like what are you doing right now with it, out of curiosity?
No, we've done zero. Everything's by word of mouth.
Awesome. Cool. Well, this definitely works out though. So this is going to be a good take on how you can basically build a brand from the ground up, from an SEO side. Again, SEO first. And the idea is that we need to establish topical authority. You have quite a bit of competitors, obviously, but there's a few of them that I want to take a look at that have risen quickly, such as like Truff, for example, and we can really look at their strategies and derive what they've done. Obviously, they've done a ton of paid marketing, but they also have a really killer SEO strategy, and we'll talk about that. So first things first, throw your site in Ahrefs, just to kind of get an idea of, where we're at. Obviously, we're brand new. The fact that you built it last month and you already have a couple keywords is great, just mostly because it means that Google's indexed your site and they see it. So, and obviously they have no idea what to rank you for yet because they're ranking you for yoga. So most likely this is like a different brand doing something else. It doesn't matter. You guys have the domain. It's perfect. So now it's just a matter of really guiding Google down the right path. The issue with new sites is Google puts you in like a sandbox more or less for a couple months. And what that typically means is you're not going to see a lot of rankings in 3 months. but the fact that you're already getting a little bit of something is a good sign. So the question is, how do we really build authority at a level so that way whenever you get out of that sandbox or the penalty Google puts you in, how do you come in? And the goal of that is just to analyze the competition and get a better idea of kind of what's going on. Traditionally, we would probably audit your site internally, but for this case, we're actually going to audit it externally, and we're going to look at the competition. So for example, we're going to do Keywords Explorer. I want to see, I want to look at like, what is the overall big banger of a keyword? I mean, pretty obviously it's going to be hot sauce. But I mean, there's of course going to be a ton of different variations you can rank for and that you will rank for. But first we have to get an idea of the competition level in general for hot. I mean, it's a 58, which again, these are made up metrics by this company, but they are decent in actually comparing like possibility and plausibility of ranking for certain things. What I really care about is the volume, the trends, if there's a CPC, meaning that if people are taking out ads on it, it most likely does convert. So that's a winner. So, but like, let's look a little bit further, right? Let's get an idea of like, okay, who's ranking, how often are they ranking? Like is anybody been basically sitting there for a long time? And we can also talk about a few different things here. Key. I'm looking at position history. So I'm looking at the historical analysis of where people have ranked and when and how long. And this actually shows you how powerful the exact match domains are, because like these guys, hotsauce.com, heathotsauce.com, it's just super powerful to have your main domain, your URL, as an exact match to the keyword you want. Obviously not the case here, because from branding side, it doesn't make a lot of sense. However, from this side, it's just interesting to note. So if you're actually analyzing competition, and some of these type of websites are pulling ahead and you don't know why, it's probably because their domain is just exact match. But let's keep looking further down the list. We got a few affiliate articles here. New York Mag, which these are obviously going to be paid articles. So whoever is number one on this best hot sauce reviews probably bought the ad space for that, which is probably like a couple $1,000. And they basically most likely either sold 2, 3, and 4, or they also own affiliate links to those sites as well. Seen that done before, pretty common. But if we see these, it means that this is possible for us to rank for it if these affiliate articles are kind of coming up to the top very quickly. So then we can kind of look down here, and we're basically going to be looking at the SERP overview. So the whole point of what we're doing here is trying to assess and see maybe who has techniques that are kind of out of the box. Who is here that doesn't necessarily belong. And you can get an idea of that just looking at the domain rating. So we're looking for like outliers. So these are ranks 1 through, whatever, 100. But the ones that have a super low DR but are ranking. Prime example, Heat Hot Sauce. So we will take a look at their SEO real quick, just to get an idea of what they're doing, if they're doing anything weird, anything novel, and go that direction. Let's look at that one. And I think a lot of these, Red Clay, maybe we'll take a look at them just to get an idea. Might not be much here, but it's worth checking out. Ultimately, though, what I want to show you is Truff. I think Truff has done some crazy stuff, but I just want to show you the methodology behind doing competitor research. So we're looking at their SEO trends. Looks like it took a bit of a hit recently on the organic keywords, obviously in the traffic. Just a little bit of background too. I'm always looking at organic keywords. And the reason is because the organic traffic up here is just an estimate of an estimate, really. Like they're estimating how much traffic you technically get if you rank 1 through 3. And then it's kind of a bit of like it's just too heavy of an estimate. It's like looking at a 2D map versus a 3D map. If you're looking at the keywords though, you can actually see, kind of the full page, what's moving. What trends do they have on what page levels, for example. What's driving the clicks is their page 1. Obviously, we don't have access to their Google Analytics, but this is the closest thing you can get to seeing their organic search trends, is looking at ranks 1 through 10 on their organic keyword rankings. And it's pretty freaking close to what they're actually getting click-through wise, just in general, trend wise. So also, if anyone on this call actually saw a recent hit to their SEO, it's super common right now. I'm seeing with a lot of different sites, and we'll actually see a couple examples today as well. But I think Google just recently released a core update or of some sort and basically shuffled around a lot of rankings. So we'll see that. But if that happened to you guys or to anyone, nothing to worry about. It's just natural. Anyways, let's keep going on this analysis here for Heat Hot Sauce. So first off, let's make sure we're looking at the entire site, all the domains. I like to use this top pages report because here's the thing. We look at the website first. This is if we were doing any audit. For you guys as a company or for competitors, you're looking at it the exact same way. A website is just a collection of URLs. Each of those URLs works in tandem on the domain to rank you higher and to create topical authority. So by that same logic, each of these URLs, some of them are more powerful than others. And I want to see which URLs, which literally pages are the most prominent on these competitors' site, or really what's driving their traffic. Because ultimately the site gets, 20,000 visitors a month, then probably a collection of those pages are what's driving those, if that 20,000 visitors is solely organic. So it's probably going to be, maybe one page that brings 5K, and another page that brings 10K, and then a collection of 3 pages that bring the other 5K, right? And so I want to see what those pages are, because that is how you really start to derive strategy and kind of reverse engineer the competition. So looking at this, the main thing is obviously their homepage. They've got a ton of keywords on their homepage, very common, but that also means that they have a lot of topical authority, and Google doesn't know what pages to rank them for, so they just rank their homepage. Really common. I like to see this more spread out, to be fair, and I love to see it when actually the homepage is not the highest ranked page, just in general. But what's also important to see here is their blogs. This blog article is bringing them a vast majority of their traffic, and it's just what is the hottest sauce in the world. So this is a great example of the content you should definitely create, and you should basically let's just see what. Okay, so funny enough, this is a terrible piece of content because it's so short and there's no headings. However, it is ranking, so it's kind of insane. I guess that they're just using this for a featured snippet, but like I don't even know how this is even ranking. So I would definitely take this exact same article, their topic, and I would rewrite it, but I would make it like at least 2,000 words. I would cover all the headings in format, which honestly, if we're gonna create a piece of content for this, let's just do it real quick. Let's just give you an idea how to do it. So first you drop it in Google, and Google is gonna tell us, so exactly that. So they're getting a featured snippet off this page, which is pretty rare because they don't have that many words. The page isn't that good. But let's look at all these other questions. Google tells you what questions that you want to have ranked or that you want to have on your page to basically make it rank. So for example, if we're looking at this and you're going to write a better blog on hottest hot sauce in the world, you basically need to call out, okay, so I need to name 3 hot sauces at least. I need to definitely number one of them as highest. I need to discuss the Scoville rankings, definitely. And that's actually a huge piece of it. I think the Scoville rankings could be a cluster of a lot of different articles, actually. The goal is to create a lot of content at scale and like basically kind of overlap it. And the idea is that basically you're doing as much as you can to just show Google that you're an expert by basically, because Google is just crawling your website, right? And they're crawling all your different pages, and they're looking for a correlation between all of it. And they want to see a trend that what you're talking about, that you really know that you're an expert, not that you just wrote what is the world's best hot sauce one time. More that you basically a thorough understanding of how the Scoville rankings work, what all the different levels are, all the different types of peppers there are out there, even the ones that are not in your sauce. And that's actually a truff technique that we're going to talk about in a second, but super crazy. But this is the idea, like all of the headings basically within that one article, straight up. And the headings, whenever I mention that, it's obviously like it's like you know what a heading is, but basically it calls it out at the top. It's just bolded. But for HTML, it needs to be an H2. Super important to make sure that your heading comes through right whenever we're basically looking at it in Google. And we're going to look at some better examples in a second. But yeah, so that's the idea. You can also throw it in a program called like Also Asked and like look up hot sauce, for example, and you'll basically see like a mind map of all these different headings you can use. Highly recommend doing that. Super easy way to help you build content very quickly and very relevant. But also to note, the order of these questions are super important. Whenever say others want to know, they want to know this one the most. They want to know this one the second most. So it's very important to put those at the very top of your article. Structure your article or your content piece in a way that it's exactly what Google wants to see. And I think that's super important. And so now that we kind of talked about how to make one piece of content, the art of SEO right now for topical authority is creating content at scale and doing a lot of it. So let's take a look at Truff. Let me find it here. Okay. Love Truff as a brand, as a product, as a marketing case study. Like pretty insane what they've done. Even they got hit recently too. This is what I'm talking about. If anybody's on this call and saw themselves get hit, it's like that little tiny dip. It's just who knows how far it's going to drop. No one knows. It's going to be interesting. But let's talk about what they did to get here today and where they are. So let's look at their top pages. We're doing the exact same thing we've been doing basically. Top pages, we're going to compare pages because I only want to look at organic keywords. And this is how we basically get access to that. Organic keywords, boom. Okay, So I want to look at their pages and what is driving the most traffic and what is driving the most keywords, period. Keywords are a precursor to traffic. Done. Especially in this tool, traffic is just an estimate, again, of your 1 through 5-ish rankings, basically, and they're assigning a rough number to it. So this kind of shows you how many keywords they have ranking number 1, basically, and then this kind of shows you just how much visibility the page is getting in general for Google's stake. Both have value. I just love looking at keywords specifically. But so let's just look here. I mean, what do we see as a ratio of their top 10 articles? Like a couple of them are products, but like 80% of them are their articles. That is not a correlation. Also, an 80% of their things are what is a poblano pepper? What is a ghost pepper? What is a serrano pepper? What is an ant pepper? This is an amazing SEO strategy because I see it. Once you see it once, you can't unsee it. And I'm going to show you some other examples. But what we're doing now with our clients actually is creating these glossaries. And it's an SEO supercharged glossary. It's the idea that you can basically spin up a lot of pages quickly and basically establish topical authority. And these articles are very similar to those. For example, the what are articles. That's basically what a glossary term is. Because if someone's searching for poblano pepper, first result is going to be what is a poblano pepper, most likely. So let's look at how this is structured. So these are the headings I'm talking about. Look at that. What are truffles? How do people find truffles? I can guarantee you this is probably the second most searched question. Like they clearly know what they're doing here. They're paying an SEO firm. How does truffle hunting work? Because obviously truffle hunting is closely tied to the search result for truffles in general, which makes sense. So they're basically, what does it taste like? Exactly. And if you look at it with the Hrefs toolbar thing, the idea is I want to look at it like how Google looks at it. So I want to look at it with the heading structure. And so you can see how they basically called out their questions. They called out their H3s. The structure is great. They don't have it. Their footer isn't in their heading structure. Their header isn't in the heading structure. Beautiful. Very clean. Whenever Google is reviewing these pages, they're looking at this. They're just seeing this and they're like, okay, cool. This checks out. We're not looking at a bunch of mess. So really quality page. So you should mimic that. Also looking at word count. What are we sitting at? Yeah, 3,000 words. That's safe. I would never produce anything below 2,000 words. And that's mostly just so you can rule out thin content ever being an issue, because SEO, as much as it's just mostly testing and ruling things out. And so if you can rule those things out, you don't have to even worry about it. So that gives you the idea. But the main thing I'm trying to get at are these what are articles. There are so many of them. And so let's search in here. We're going to search only articles. We're just going to filter this. And we're also going to do only using the words what. I want to see how many of these they have, because this is essentially a glossary basically of all these terms. They just put it in their blog section. Totally fine. Let's take a look at that. Okay, so they have like at least 12. So Steven, you should definitely do these 12 at least. And you could create a glossary where it's like, all the different like 100 top peppers, I don't know, and just literally just kill them, kill content, and design your pages the exact same. What is it? Like what's the Scoville rating? Include a product call out, maybe in the top 20% of the page, and like almost like a little box with your product where they can just like add the cart and buy it right there. But each of these pages are going to become landing pages. If someone is Googling ghost pepper, you want this article, this what is article to rank. And what's going to, like, look at this right here. So they actually rank for ghost pepper Scoville. So they rank number 1 for that and the feature snippet, which has got pretty decent volume. So if someone's searching for that, they're finding their article. And then they're going to basically probably click off and buy some of their hot sauce, even though their hot sauce doesn't use ghost peppers. I'm not sure if it does, but most likely it doesn't. They're talking about all the different ingredients. And so this is like a glossary concept. It's what I'm calling it, at least right now. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. And so many big companies are using this to scale very, very quickly with topical authority and SEO. My favorite example where I first saw this and I didn't know what it was on Pet. We've got a lot of CBD clients, and CBD is super competitive. Like everyone's doing the best of the best, like the nth degree of everything, throwing so much money around to get things done. But the first time I saw it here was on Pet, because they were ranking for CBD for pets. Like they've been ranking for that forever. And as I was doing research, I couldn't figure out why a lot of their pages, the top pages, are just literally these dog breeds. And like this has nothing to do with CBD, but they've spun up hundreds of pages. Each individual page is about the breed itself, which is pretty hilarious. And their structure is the same. If my website will load or webpage will load, but it basically shows like, it shows all the different features of these different dogs. Like it shows like history, traits, etc. All these things that are not related to CBD. And they've got hundreds of these pages. They did the same thing for cats, funny enough. So what's happening is they're creating this massive topical authority on all these brands, breeds of cats and dogs, which allows them to also, because they're looking for CBD, in Google's mind, it's a no-brainer. They're the pet experts in the CBD field, so they have to be ranked #1 for pet CBD. And so that's kind of what you need to create. You need to become the pepper expert in your field, and you can do this with content and honestly, almost with no backlinks, and you will still rank super highly for this. The other route, of course, is backlinks, but they're going to come naturally as you basically keep, building your website in general. So super interesting. You all see it on Blackline, which is an accounting software. The vast majority of their traffic comes from these complex topics distilled down into a glossary. And each of the pages are the exact same. What is it? How does it help? Et cetera, et cetera. And all the questions are basically based on data, which you can pull from Ahrefs, which you can pull in a bunch of different areas. And actually, if you're back on Ahrefs, we're looking at the hottest hot sauce again, right here, or the hot sauce keyword in general. You can look at questions, and it actually will show you, how do you make wing hot sauce? So recipes is another great way to do it. So after you've killed, 30 of the top most searched peppers in the world, and you got your full page, it looks great on that. Start creating recipe pages, and then link those back to the different, pepper pages you basically created. And obviously, your product embeds need to be everywhere, because ultimately that's the goal. We're just trying to drive traffic to then get sales, but sales are the goal, obviously. But just have to mention that. Important to embed your products and content. Super important. Which Replo, you can use Replo for that, which is great. You can also use these short codes on Shopify using like a buy button. It's not great, but it does work. There's also a bunch of apps that are out there doing it. It's pretty cool. Anyways, you can get the idea, but this is just kind of how to do quick and easy research. But the goal of what I'm trying to help you understand is just like the content plan. Before you produce any more articles, you need to know exactly what you want to produce, how you want to produce them. And I would nail the top 30 peppers, create like a pepper glossary, then branch into recipes and just hammer the content. And maybe some on-brand content up top, and then put the SEO content at the bottom of those pages. But you're trying to spin up pages, as many as possible. Any questions?
So you would recommend against using Shopify's blog function and then build everything completely in Replo, because you can then customize with the product integration, right? Is that correct?
Yes, but that's not for the faint of heart, obviously, right? So it's a pretty big undertaking. Each blog page has to be custom. So if it's a function of just getting the pages live as quickly as possible, then I would utilize Shopify's standard blog function just to get the URLs live. And you can always go back once those certain pages are ranking higher and redo those pages in Replo. So that would be, I guess, another idea for that. But it's a big undertaking. If you have a team, or if you have people helping you, or if you're doing this full time, then yeah, absolutely. Because you need to embed those products into the blogs, and ideally earlier before you get traffic. But does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. I have been bugging Justin, the Replo boys, about building out an expanded blog function, but we're working on it, I think. So it's a process. Cool. Okay. So any more questions on this at all on your site, man? I think that was a pretty high level idea, but hopefully it kind of gave you an approach. Just copy Truff. Long story short, basically.
This is absolutely amazing. Thank you.
Awesome, dude, man. I love doing this stuff. Okay, so Faraz, let's do Fully Vital, right?
Yes.
That's your site. Cool, man.
Yes, Robert,
Okay, so tell me all about it. So tell me about what you guys are doing to drive traffic, how long it's been going on, etc.
Totally. We've had the site for a year and a half. We paused traffic a couple of months ago because we're changing agencies, but that should be turning back on today or tomorrow. So we're going to be back in the mix. Haven't focused at all on SEO or any of this content or ranking. I was so afraid that we're so far behind the competition. This is a competitive niche. The hair growth products for women. We're also launching 2 new products for gray, reversal, delaying the gray in 2 months. That is, I think, less competitive than the hair growth niche. So, but we're focusing on women, only women. I just wrote my first article that was 1,300 words yesterday that was actually SEO optimized for the first time. So this is a very good time to be talking to you. But I'm here for all of the content plan and all the ideas you might have, because I'm like, should I do backlinks? Should I do content? Like, what do I do? I know how to use the AI tools to create content, so that's good. But like I need an
Perfect.
overarching strategy and a content plan and execution plan as well.
Beautiful, dude. So you're in the right place. That's exciting, man. And funny enough, we have a client that we work with called Isles, and they have a lot of hair growth products as well. So they're making like shampoos. So I actually am pretty well versed in ranking in this area. So I'm more than happy to share some of my tips and tricks that I've discovered while working on that site. So let's jump in, man. So first off, I think the landing page looks great. I love all these. I think you have. I mean, this looks really, really good. No issues there at all. I think. Again, I'm trying to go in cold. So I'm just going in cold. This is gonna be one that I haven't prepared for at all. So it's gonna be fun to kind of go through this. But let's take a look. So okay, cool. So you got a serum, and so you're only focusing on women, right? That's what you said. So
Correct. Yes.
Cool. So with the content plan for this, and ultimately let's see where your domain ranking and everything is right now, actually, just to get an idea. But ultimately, I think I know the different strategies we can take. So let's check it out. Okay, yeah, 27, perfect. That's a great spot. Yeah, so I would not invest in backlinks. But again, that's of course my opinion. I think content is way more worth the money, worth the time, worth everything, because the backlinks will come naturally anyways. So, and then the organic traffic wise, like, big ups and downs, totally fine there. They look like they're pretty well corresponded with Google updates, super common. And you guys haven't really focused on SEO in the past, right? Or have you?
At all.
Okay, exactly.
At all. Yeah, zero.
Bingo. Makes sense. So that's where the volatility is. But this is actually really good because if you've been here, you can always get back there, especially by focusing on it. And one thing I also want to note is that you did not get dinged by the recent, movements in the Google algos. That's strong. It means that what you're doing is you're doing well. So how do we keep doubling down on that? So I'm just going to take a look at your top pages and just going to look at kind of what you're ranking for. So I always do top pages and organic keywords. I'm always looking at sites from like macro to micro, basically, and seeing what's working. So SEO in every way, shape, and form is just like controlled testing. Every site differently content. The glossary concepts we found is a good like hack, but like ultimately, certain pieces of content may perform better than others, period. And I want to get an idea of that, which is how we basically look at this. And even like, so your products are ranking pretty well, which is good. So it looks like a lot of across the board, a lot of your pages are, have a low number of keywords ranking, which is okay. I mean, but there's like no clear winners above the mix, which is also a good thing, because we can create those basically. Look here, like some of the best keyword ones you have are like regrow baby hairs on the scalp, brush scalp, thicker hair. So your URLs actually look pretty good too. So I love exact match URLs. So like literally, if you're trying to rank for hair regrowth, then it should be like fullyvital.com/blog/wellness/regrow your hair or whatever. Like the exact keyword you're looking for. That's the URL. So powerful. Okay. So, and then I already obviously talked about how to construct the content, but I think what I can help with right now, like the overall picture of how you can really build topical authority very fast. Totally. And what we found a lot of success in just using working with Isles is there's so much search volume around hairstyles, like so much search volume around hairstyles. So it's pretty interesting, because again, you wanna there's a couple really angles you have to think about before you start basically building a content plan and establishing topical authority. You have to think about, okay, what is I would only be searching for my product, and they're not gonna be searching directly. Most likely, they're gonna be searching for, my hair is thinning. My hair is graying, kind of like what you talked about with the new product. Why is my hair thinning? Why do I have hair breakage? Which is a classic term that we found with Isles that works really well. So looking at hair breakage, looking at, losing hair, looking at all the causes, all the reasons, and becoming a topical expert on hair loss. Then Google is going to always reward your product above everybody else because you are on hair loss. People are looking for hair loss issues, symptoms, resolutions, whenever they're trying to find your product, basically. So, but that's one angle. The other angle is to approach it from like how we're doing with Isles, but again, they're also doing shampoos, so it's a bit different. So it's like shampoo first, hair regrowth kind of second, or hair breakage, recovery. We're focusing on hairstyles because anything that we basically created would rank so fast. Like for example, perms, Hollywood waves is a word. There's a whole hair Botox, like all these different Barbie trends, all these different very weird hairstyles. That Xingan is like another one. Like basically writing articles about those type of hairstyles and then leading them into your products also works very well. So basically, if you have like a hair serum, which I know you did, I think that could actually work well with doing that. Like, oh, you like the hairstyle here. Well, like let's make your hair much more luscious with this product. So that's one angle, is like the hairstyle type glossary. But I think the better angle is becoming an expert in all things hair loss. So what was the article you just created?
Yes, if you go to the website and go to the footer in the blog, you will see the latest article. So yeah, just go down. You'll see the blog in the footer.
Beautiful. Vitamin D and hair loss. Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
And hair growth. Okay, no, dude, all these. Okay, you got the right idea, that's for sure. So let's take a look at how we can actually help you build this one out. It was this one, right? This is the new
Yeah, totally.
Cool. Okay, also, this is very small, but for EAT, expertise, authoritativeness, and trust, it's best to link this to a person. So if that's you, or if that's, if you have anyone on staff that can be potentially perceived as a hair expert in any way, shape, or form, create author pages for them and have it authored by them and put author bios in the bottom of the page. Because Google wants to make sure that the opinion is coming from an expert, period. And so that does help a lot. Little small thing to help future. But I like what you got going on here. Definition and types, role. Awesome, man. No, this is looking pretty good. No, yeah, this is great. And you got just enough photos. The only thing you're missing is product placements, but you kind of are with the photos, which that's fine. But let's see. Let's just take a look here. Okay, so 1,500 words all in. You do have so it looks like, yeah, so you do have, okay, no, so okay, yeah, so you got a little bit of some header stuff in here. Not the end of the world if it's too complex to get that removed, but ultimately I shoot for perfection basically. So,
Yeah, totally.
So I'm just gonna go through it. But this is really perfect structure, man. Your H3s, pulling out the questions that you called out. I think basically it looks like you're basically trying to rank for vitamin D and hair loss, which is great. So let's maybe just so I think that's probably the best possible keyword there. And so whenever you did your research, I'm guessing you kind of reverse whoever's currently ranking, most likely.
I went to Google Keywords and saw where the competition was low. And
beautiful.
That's how I started. I didn't do this one, what you're showing here.
Okay. So it's all, the secret of SEO is all in the headings, ultimately. It's all in making sure that you get the right headings, at the right place at the right time, ultimately. And so this is good. How much should I take? That's obviously a big question. And basically just in general, does it grow back? And another cool thing to note actually as well. So I would almost just leave this content as is for 20 more days probably, let it age a little bit, and then go back in and add an FAQ to the bottom of it. And the FAQ can have 10 questions that you've derived from this search data basically. Nice. And the FAQ is going to be an H2, and also the questions of the FAQ will also be H2s. Super important. Okay. But just adding that in, because that gives a couple things. One, it covers your bases on all these extra questions and keywords effectively. And two, you're sending Google signals that you're updating your content. That you're not just leaving your content out there to dry and to die, basically, which I think is huge. Google loves that shit. So that's actually a hack. Almost the first thing we do with any new clients is we basically look at their top performing articles and we go in and drop FAQs in all of them. And we get to watch and see what pops. And whatever data we pull off of what articles pop helps guide us into, okay, what type of content should we be really focusing in on? And so for example, even in our month one type of deals of a few month ordeal, we will basically test as much as we can. So we'll test adding copy to product pages, adding copy to collection pages, adding it to the blogs, because ultimately the goal, whenever you think of content, maybe most of the time you're thinking of blogs, but you can also put content on product pages and collection pages using these exact same questions. And it's super, super valuable because from a website standpoint, mostly your product, a lot of the backlinks, because people are linking your products. So why not put strategic content on those actual pages and put them at the very bottom of the page where nobody's actually looking at it? So we've had a ton of success in that. And for example, again, I got to pitch the CBD industry. Let me see if I have it open. Maybe I don't. Oh, I do. Cool. So for example, Focal, one of our bigger clients. So they're just huge in the CBD space, but in the collection page. So we're trying to rank them for CBD gummies. and which is a super hard keyword, like a 97 difficulty, we're showing quite a bit of progress. And the art of it is in using the URLs and also using the FAQs. So these may seem basic, but you can also build out these really cool, like, waterfall style, questions and answers items there. But it's super important. And all these come from the most data-driven derived question people are looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And you tack it onto the bottom of the page, where most likely it's not going to affect the user experience. They're probably not going to see it, but Google's going to see it and Google's going to read it. And it's really effective on product pages. So for example, I think when I was looking at your pages, it looks like this product, the enhanced hair growth bundle, it's like it's got a bit more traction than some of the other ones do from this side. If we're looking at it from Google Analytics, it might be totally different. So also do this with your most profitable products first, let's be honest, and then work your way backwards from the top searched. But yeah, then you literally just drop the FAQ in. But if you look down here, we sit at the very bottom. So that, I mean, no one's going to be scrolling down here. Like most likely they're not.
How did you do the FAQ? What technology is this? Is it just HTML and CSS or?
Yes, yeah. So actually, we're using the Shopify native template sections, I guess. But we have like a custom developer working on this one, so it's a bit more custom. But I'm pretty certain you can basically create the same type of FAQ in Replo. You just might have to get a developer, to be honest, but it can be done. But yeah, so you use that as like a section basically.
Okay.
And you basically create a custom one, and it gets even crazier because some of these, I'm not sure if I wish I had a good example, but you can even embed H3s inside of these. So if you're getting real savvy, so then you can basically upload a full blog post to product pages and collection pages within these like waterfall style accordion things, which is like just super dangerous for SEO.
It's H2 and H3 right in there, yeah.
Bingo, exactly.
Yeah,
so like the H2 is here. What is CBN? The H like a subheading on here, like we can make this like cannabinol or whatever, like as a separate heading, and then CBN, CBD, CBG, etc. So
this is beautiful.
Yeah, dude, we love this. So this is a great way to optimize your pages for sure.
I gotta find a way to do this. I added something in the collections page just under mine, but it's not as powerful as what you guys are doing. This is really, really cool.
Well, dude, once you see it, you can't unsee it, man. So if you're looking at like anyone looking for hair growth, and you see people that don't belong in the search results, usually they have content in their collection pages just at the bottom or at the top, and or different areas. But basically what they're doing is, if you think about how Google works, right? The product pages and your collection pages are getting most of your links, period. So what's happening is Google's trying to rank you for anything that they find on that page, because clearly if everyone's linking to that page, then they need to rank something on that page. If there's not enough content, Google gets confused and will just make up keywords to rank you for. But if you Google exactly what you want, then they'll give it to you. And that's the best part. So you're in a good spot with your domain rating and everything.
Do you mind just scrolling down on this page real quick? I've added a bunch of content in here.
These videos are great, by the way. Videos are super awesome.
Okay.
I like that.
The content keeps going on this page.
Yeah, no, this is good, dude. The more the merrier, honestly. I've never seen an issue with not having okay, you do have an FAQ section. That's what's up.
I do have an FAQ section, yeah. But it's not optimized, obviously. H2, H3, and these are questions.
Okay, so that's super key, dude. So that's one thing that we found, like literally, because we've been doing this for a while, and whenever we first kind of discovered these this FAQ secret, before we were messing around with should we make them H4 or make the FAQ button in H3 or whatever. And the problem is it dilutes how Google reads this. And so then it doesn't pop up as quickly, you're not ranking as fast. So that's always, I harp on this with my clients all the time. Get all of your heading, your heading should not have HTML tags. Your footer shouldn't have HTML tags. Because when Google is reading these pages, they're trying to spend as little resources as possible. They're spending as low amount of money as they can to read your site, which means they're just decoding the headings straight up. And if those are really clear and the content's concise, it's done. You're going to rank for whatever you want, basically.
Really? Even today's day and age, better the keyword, I can rank. So
there's more to it, but I mean, more or less, if you do everything right, okay, there's two ways really. You're either going to become an expert, a topical expert on the theme. So for example, for hair loss, for this product, for your enhanced hair growth bundle. If you are a topical expert on hair loss, you have 100, 200 pages all about hair loss, all the different types, all the different remedies, not just your product, but every type of vitamin, serum, everything else out there that's being searched by people. You have that on different pages of your website. It overlaps. It's embedded. It's deep. And then you optimize this page to show Google you want to rank for that keyword on this page. It's going to happen, like almost guaranteed.
Okay.
The second way is with backlinks. And the second way would basically be you just have a shitload of backlinks, more than everybody else, more powerful than everyone else going to your page. And whenever I'm looking at, like, let's literally look at this. So let's look at Keyword Explorer. Let's do, so I'm guessing, do you know any keywords that you're like really trying to dive into rank for? Like probably hair loss, or like, is there anything bigger that you found?
Here, yeah, I mean, it's a competitive, I don't know, but I would love to rank for hair growth serum or hair growth supplement. That'd be amazing.
Let's do it. Let's find the biggest one first. Probably hair growth supplement. Let's see.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's go that.
And the cool thing is, like, Ahrefs just basically keeps showing you what's better and better. Okay, hair growth supplements, plural. It's hilarious how this tiny little word can change the search intent and change the volume. Okay, so 64, but 7.2K. I think it's doable. We just have to have a shitload of content, but it can be done. But like, let's look. So look at this. This is what's classic. If we look at who's ranking, all of these are paid articles.
Yeah.
Cosmopolitan, Healthline, Forbes,
Yes.
Harper's Bazaar, maybe paid. I'm not sure. Prevention, maybe. Sephora, okay, that's actual product, but it's Sephora. They've got so much brand authority that it's like, it's almost impossible. That's a classic example of backlinks. They're winning it from the backlink example. They don't have to have a lot of content. They're going to rank for it anyways because they're Sephora. It's like a pay play, basically pay to play. But like, let's look at maybe Harper's Bazaar. Let me just see. I'm looking for companies that are clearly like standalone products that just kind of showed up. Maybe this one.
There we go. That's a standalone product. Yes.
Good. Let's check them out. They have a pretty strong domain rating, but let's still look at what they're doing. Let's see if we can get an idea. A lot of these other ones are paid. That's another play entirely, though, is to basically buy affiliate articles and then
How do you do that? How do I get on Forbes.com? I think was one of the ones, or Cosmopolitan or something.
Yep.
How do I pay them
5K.
to be number one?
It like
5K.
Well, it's like you buy the article placement first, and then you can basically sell the other slots. So you can sell, like, so if you're gonna rank yourself number, you buy the article from Forbes for 5K, and you sell number 2 for like 2K, number 3 for like 1K, and you kind of try to break even, and then you write the article super optimized, and you also go out and basically create backlinks through the article, through like a press release and through whatever. That is also one way to rank, but it's like, that's called like parasite SEO, which I also love. Super well. It's played very heavily in really competitive areas, like obviously hair growth apparently, but also in other areas like CBD, but it's a thriving business basically. So anyways, let's keep checking this stuff out. It looks like they're pretty stagnant, but strong overall. Okay, they had a huge dip, so they got smashed here. They got smacked by Google at some point, but that's fine. Let's just still see what they're doing, because clearly they've done something right to get here. I'm looking at their keywords. I'm also going to show you how to find unique keywords. We'll cover that too in a second. But you can find the competitors. Like ultimately, like any brands that you think are doing well, and you look at their charts on Ahrefs or wherever, SEMrush, and you see that they're doing well in SEO, just dive into figuring out why. And there's just so much. That's actually kind of how I really got started, was just like the curiosity in like why a certain website makes more money than another website, and kind of diving down that path. So looking at this, okay, hair texture, hair types. So if Nutrafol, they're a hair growth product and they're covering hair types, that actually completely fits with what's working well on Isles, one of our clients. So it goes to show that this is probably a pretty good strategy to cover, all 15 shampoo ingredients to avoid. That's classic too. They're even covering libido, which is hilarious. I don't know. They're basically claiming their product restores libido, but who knows? Who knows?
That's crazy.
But like, you can like literally mimic all of these different articles.
Can I create the same articles and hope to rank better than them, or they're still going to beat me?
No, they're going to beat you in the short term. But I mean, so the thing is, this is how I like to describe it. There's so much pie to go around, man. You know what I mean? Like, but like if it works really well for them, then write like a near identical article, but just add in all that data, add in the researched headings, make it better, make a much better article, make it just more SEO optimized, and make sure your heading structure is proper. make sure you're interlinking from all your pages, you got the right placements, and then over time, you will beat them. I mean, it just takes a lot of time. It's hard to say you're going to beat this team because they have such a high domain rating, but I mean, dude, it could definitely happen. But hopefully what's going to happen is you're going to rank for the other keywords that you don't even know exist that are also qualified.
So if I could, a strategy might be just go to this page, find all their top articles, rewrite them, go to IELTS, find their top articles, rewrite them, and then brace.
Yeah, that would do it. Exactly. Yeah, that would do it.
That
would do it. No, dude. That's the move. Honestly, that's the move, man. But I mean, it's not, as much as it's not rocket science. I think you're getting the theme though. The theme is just content at scale, but very specific content that's kind of designed to win. So let me also show you how to find these weird keywords. I can use the AI
to create the content, right? Like ChatGPT?
Yeah, absolutely. But you have to be careful with it, right? Just make sure you obviously proofread it, fact check it, add sources. Definitely add sources. Just because like that's going to be a huge indicator soon of like, whether AI content is worthwhile or not. Google's released a statement that they're okay with AI content.
Correct.
But I think it's honestly because they just don't want to spend all the money to retool their detection system, or which makes sense. But their main thing is we're okay with AI content as long as the content is better than what it was before. And so makes sense. Like just make sure that you use the AI content as a tool and you're feeding it into your outlines you're creating. People are looking for on the internet and the quality is decent, passable, and factually accurate.
And if I can create 2 or 3 articles a week, is that fine? The velocity is no problem?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Just definitely cover it from like you want every piece of content you create to be twofold. One, to be like a duplicate or an idea of based off a competitor. So maybe you can snipe their keywords. But then 2, it needs to be within your topical map, within the idea of what you're going for. Like because that way, if the doesn't perform well, it still has a piece in the puzzle. It still is valuable from a topical relevant standpoint. Which will be like, for example, like again, I think you might want to become the experts in all things, hair loss, all things. So basically covering all the different causes of hair loss, all the symptoms of hair loss, all the different natural holistic ingredients that could help boost hair loss. And like each of those would have a play in that topical map, basically.
And every article is 2,000 words or more.
2,000, exactly, 2,000 words or more. Okay. And I would definitely say more is better. Like produce as many as you can. I think 2 to 3 a week is totally fine. Absolutely. Especially, while you run a business on the side. But the more that you can kind of get in the groove of, automating it, handing it off, highly recommend maybe hiring like virtual assistants, hiring, expanding the team internationally because it's actually pretty affordable and you could allow you to, focus more on the business and while it's still in the background constantly.
Okay. So, you were going to show me something here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So another thing you can do is basically finding unique organic keywords. So for example, like we know we want hair growth, hair loss formula, supplements, etc. But what if they have something else that's great? And what if we just don't know? So where we basically started, just to kind of recap again, we started on the Keyword Explorer page, which is right here for health loss. Oh, did my screen go black?
Yep.
Hold on a second. Okay, we're back. Okay, start here. You start with the keyword. You're looking at all the people that are basically ranking for that keyword. And you're going to find the ones that have pretty good SEO or that are just solely a product, like Nutrafol. Again, pretty sure I'm butchering that, but Nutrafol. And then we're going to go to the organic keywords tab. So we're looking at their site now. We're analyzing them. And I want to see, okay, what keywords are driving them traffic? Obviously, their brand. Okay, well, let's remove their brand. So let's do a negative. So I don't want to see Nutrafol in the keyword. Does not contain. Trying to identify other good opportunities for other keywords. That's the main thing I'm trying to do here. And so what we do, things we don't know exist. So we remove that keyword. So, okay, now it's obviously a lot of variations of their brand. Let's also sort by volume. Because again, we want the bigger the better. The bigger the better. So, okay, hair, obviously supplement, hair growth products, not bad. Massive amount of traffic, decent keyword difficulty, CPC is high. It's a winner. But the key thing here is products, plural. So another good way to do this would actually be to write like a product roundup on your website or to use this exact keyword in an affiliate website to do like the parasite SEO we talked about. If you did a product roundup on your website, talk very positively about the other brands you're going to call out that may be competition and send them a note, say like an email and say like if you can find like one of their editors and say, hey, I just want to let you know I'm like really like your brand. I know we're in a competing space. I talked about you in one of our articles. Would love it if you could link back to this or something like that. 9 times out of 10 they won't, but that one time will be so worth it. It's worth a shot, basically.
Totally.
So that's another tactic as well. But again, vitamins for hair growth, that's a banger because you can easily promote your product when talking about different vitamins for hair growth.
Yeah.
So hair regrowth. I mean, and you basically just go on the list, but you basically sort by volume and just kind of look at it that way. We can even start filtering because now here you can see they've got 4,700 keywords that are, that don't contain Nutrafol and then have a high volume. But let's actually filter for up to a keyword difficulty of 20 to get an idea of any really good low-hanging fruit. We're basically going to keep using these filters until we get this keyword number down to something reasonable. And that way we have an idea for what could really work really well. Rogaine foam, look at that, 7. You could easily talk about, why your product's better than Rogaine. Like for example, your article title could be Rogaine foam, does it work? And then people are going to search for Rogaine and you're going to come up and they're going to read about how it doesn't work, then your product's better. So there's like so many good ways to snipe this shit. Women's Rogaine, dude, that is it right there. You need to write an article on that shit for sure.
Sweet.
Beautiful. It's like another good example. Like I've got, again, back to the CBD clients. A few of them are branching into like libido supplements. What a lot of the content we're creating is like Viagra for women. Does it work? Or like all that classic stuff. Like what are alternatives for Viagra? And it's like, it's our CBD based libido booster product. Like we're basically tricking Google to rank us for these keywords that most likely our website shouldn't rank for. But if you do it right and you design the content right, then it ranks for it. And so that's why like a lot of people thinking about SEO, they're all focused on their main keyword, like hair growth. It's got like an impossible difficulty and it's like really, it's like ridiculous. It's like up there on the pedestal. There's so much pie down here you can get and eat and be very full. Like, so go for these weird lower hanging fruits, but do it in a way that you're hitting both. You're hitting topical authority, you're trying to snipe keywords, and you're building off what the competition has done to become successful. If you're doing all 3 of those, every content piece is an asset and none of them can be a liability. Because if content on your site isn't helping you, it's going to be hurting you somewhere. Google or diluting your content that matters. Like that's been a big thing we've actually been studying too internally, my team, on these big clients we have that have like thousands of pages of content. It's like what we found is when you have that much content, it can actually be hurting you quite a bit. Like if you're trying to rank for something like and your topical authority is garbage because you have like 900 pages of like very short, terrible content. And so then any page you create is going to be just completely diluted. So you basically have to go back and purge those, but topic for a different day.
Totally.
Any questions? I'm pretty sure I gave you a lot.
You gave me a lot. I got to watch this over and over again. And where can I reach out to you if I need to?
Yeah, man. No, hit me up via email. You just robert@quickbot.com. You can reach out to our website and hit any of the forms. I'll obviously respond. I've got a pretty big team now that helps me out. So yeah, man. And then also obviously in the Replo Slack channel, if you're part of that. I think I'm the admin on the SEO channel, so I try to jump in when I can. It's pretty crazy, man. With all these AI tools, like it's actually, everyone keeps saying that SEO is like gonna go away. No. We're on like the forefront. Like this is like some cutting edge shit where everyone thinks they're an SEO expert. And it's actually amazing because they're just tools. Like they're tools to help you create better content, to help you rank faster. But it's gonna build a huge gap between who knows what they're doing and who doesn't. So
is there an AI tool of choice that you like, or just ChatGPT 4 is fine?
Yeah, ChatGPT 4 is as good as it's gonna get. But ultimately, like the big thing again, like internally, we allow our writers to utilize it as a tool. As a company policy. However, like it's important that your AI workflow, period, it begins with a human, ends with a human. So like the AI you can create the outline from a human standpoint, pulling all these questions, reverse engineering competition, and just really taking a human approach to the outline. Then you feed the outline into the AI first draft, and then you edit it and kind of comb through it to make sure it makes sense, it's factually relevant, and that it also reads for humans. You know what I mean? Because ultimately, you are an e-commerce store, so you really have to speak to these visitors. But if you were going to spend time rewriting things, rewrite the first part of the paragraph or the first part of the article, because that's what people are going to read. They're not going to read the bottom part, so don't worry about it. But
True.
another hack. But
Okay.
yeah.
So one last question. On these pages, when
sir.
you're building a 2,000 word long page, how often should you be sending them to your product pages? Like I'm doing it at the end, but like you said, people are not even getting to the end. So how soon do you start like sending them off to different product pages from there?
Yeah, so for contextual links, meaning that like it's like over the exact match keyword, like I'm gonna use CBD again. If the article is about CBD gummies and it's like, hey, welcome to our roundup on the best CBD gummies that we have as a company, and like maybe like you have the contextual, you maybe do like 4 or 5, into your other pages or website. Period. You may go to products, you may go to whatever. But with the product placement, you want to use a photo. You want to use like the buy now button, the add to cart button, which I think Replo has access to basically implement. But also natively on Shopify, it's kind of hard to do it, but it can be done. I have seen developers do it. But I like to put like carousels of products, like at least 3 products at the 20 or 30% mark and at like the mark of the article. And by that, I mean like you're scrolling. So like that way the people read the first paragraph or 2 and boom, there's your 3 products. And then they read like the next like 5 or 6 paragraphs and boom, there's a different set of 3 products.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So that's super important because again, and you can set it up in Google Analytics to track those clicks too. So you can actually track like how much revenue is being attributed from the click-throughs from the blogs, which is really cool.
Dude, so much gold. Thank you.
Yeah,
Oh,
man. No, it's fun, dude. I love talking about this. Can't tell. So
I can't tell at all.
happy to help, man. Happy to help.
Yeah.
So yeah, feel free to reach out, man, at any point in time too, dude. If you got any follow-up questions, or if you put together a content plan, you're like, hey, man, you mind reviewing this? I can have our team take a look. So
Will do. Thank you very much. Yeah, appreciate it.
no problem, man. Thanks for joining. Thanks for interacting. And
Yeah,
it makes for a better experience for everyone.
For sure.
Cool. Justin, I think
Yeah,
we're about at time.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Robert, thank you so much for hosting. These are so informative, and can't wait to do this again next month. So,
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we'll get this up on YouTube in the next 24 hours here. And yeah, I posted Robert's contact info in the chat as well, and we'll make sure to drop that in the show notes here. And thank you again for everyone showing up. Really appreciate it.
Great. See you guys.
Take care, everyone.